Most brands think they need to rebuild everything just to grow, but at scale, it's usually about fixing what's already working. The Female company was already doing around 20% of their revenue from email, which is pretty solid for an 8-figure brand before they came to us. But with the right optimizations, we pushed that close to 30%, which added a few $100,000 in additional monthly revenue. In today's video, we break down how we identified hidden gaps inside an already well-performing email system, the missing flows that added tens of thousands in additional monthly revenue, how A/B testing the key flows alone unlocked an extra $50K in monthly revenue, and how better segmentation and campaign strategy drove consistent growth. So if you're already doing decent numbers but you want to take your email marketing to the next level, check out the link in the description box beneath this video and book in some time to speak with me. So today's video is slightly different, and in this one I'm going to walk you through a case study for the Female company. Now, a couple of nuances here. One, I want to highlight, obviously this is a German company, this German copy that you can see on the screen in front of you there, and I want to highlight our kind of international experience. So yes, look, the majority of our brands that we work with are in the Anglo market, so the US, UK, Australia, but every so often we will work with international businesses. So the Female company is a German company. We'll come on to more about them in a second. But yeah, we do have experience working with French brands, Middle Eastern brands based in the Gulf, Spanish brands, Mexican, Swiss, so on and so forth. We have worked across the planet and we have the experience to handle, international copy, different vibe, different audiences, and so on. And the second nuance with the Female company is they came to us when, things weren't broken, to be completely honest. If I pull up their Klaviyo account now, you can see around a year ago, so before they started work with us, they're doing around 20% of revenue from email. So this is an 8-figure brand, 20% of revenue coming from email, not bad. They had SMS set up, around 6% of revenue coming from there, and a pretty decent split. So they had, the core flow set up, campaigns being sent out regularly, targeting different segments of their list, and overall doing okay, right? You can see 100K a month coming in from the campaigns, and about the balance or the kind of similar numbers coming in from flows as well. There were tweaks that we could make, and when we kind of audited the brand, we highlighted that. I believed we could get this, closer towards 30%, and I'll come on to what we kind of did for them in a second. The final point I want to highlight here is that this business was also going through a kind of internal restructuring, and it was more cost effective. They previously had 5-6 person in-house team. It was more cost effective to work with us on their email marketing, and that is one of the reasons why they came across. Before I get into the strategy though, what do these guys do? Well, as you can see kind of on the website, these guys do underwear, sleepwear, and kind of related products for ladies in Germany and the kind of surrounding markets. So they're also focused on the Netherlands, Belgium, and a small percentage of revenue coming from the surrounding areas as well. So a very solid brand. They had grown on the back of influencer campaigns. They put targeted ad spend behind that and scaled up, as I said, to the 8-figure level. So what I'm going to do here is when I show you some of the work, I'm going to show it in English so that you understand it. The process for creating work was, the team was kind of fluent and conversed and, from a business perspective, commercially worked in English. So we started with those, and then we would translate into German, get that run by the team. They had, internal branding, team who wanted to sign off on images and kind of copy, and then we'd have that final version ready to go live. So I will just focus on the English-speaking stuff here to make it easier for you to understand. But the first thing that we did when we came in the door was work on the list growth. So previously they didn't really have much going on there. It was purchasers going on the list. We wanted to work with the kind of GDPR and EU guidelines to capture more people that were visiting the site and get those guys on the list. So step one was implementing a pop-up like this that kind of comes in, gets people's phone numbers, emails, contact info. The next thing that we did then was work on the flows that were missing in the customer journey. So as I said, they had most of the key stuff live. They were missing, site abandoned, sunset flow, post-purchase flow, upsell, and browse abandoned. So some of the what I'd call tier 2 flows. They had all the core stuff, very well converting welcome flow, cart abandon flow, and so on. We started off by just layering on what was missing. And some of these had some pretty insane results. So the site abandon flow that you can see on the screen in front of you drove an extra 20K in monthly revenue. So even though they're tier 2 flows, still substantial uplift to the business there. The next thing was working on A/B tests. So this was kind of looking at flows that they had that were, working that we thought could be doing better. So like the win back flow, we basically come in, we put 2 legs into the flow, so we kept what was already live, and we just ran 50% of the traffic to our flows, and we drove some pretty substantial uplift there as well. We did the same for the abandoned cart flow, and this drove a 50k per month uplift. And then the final piece of the puzzle was putting together a campaign calendar and taking that over from their in-house team. So you remember at the start of the video I said one of the reasons we were kind of brought in was to help with that restructure and make those kind of cost efficiencies, but we also kind of improved the performance on the campaign side. So you can see here, this is for the month of March. We were sending pretty often, I would say, multiple times per week, emails going out. And in terms of the designs, everything here is super on brand to match their brand playbook and signed off by their brand team. And we're sending out content that worked to convert those guys. And then if we look at results, so this is for the month of January, you can see that we pretty much nailed the prediction. So in the audit, when I took a look at the brand, I said that I think we can get, 30% of revenue coming from email. And that is what we did. So you can see there's an uplift across both campaigns and flows. Those were both sitting at around 100k a month before. We added, an extra 70k on the campaign side and pretty much the same on the flow side too. So that is a mixture of A/B testing and then also layering in the tier 2 flows that were missing before. And on the campaign side, a lot of the uplift was based on the segmentation that we put in place and sending more campaigns. So slightly different case study to normal, but I wanted to show you, if you are a brand at the 8-figure level, it's not about kind of revolutionizing, ripping down everything you've got. It's more about layering in additional things that you can be doing in your account to take things to the next level. So to give you that profit and revenue on the email side that you can then use to pump back into the business to, launch more products, spend more on ads and so on. And that will help take your business to the next level. And we look forward to continuing working with the female company as they look to push forward to 1.5 million euro months. So if this looks like something that we could help your brand with, check out the link in the description box below this video. Book in some time to speak with me. We'll give you a free audit of your business. We'll show you what we think we can do to help, give you the entire strategy, and then we can implement it for you just like we did for these guys and help them drive an extra nearly 150k a month in revenue.